23rd in Maine. 223 in Maine. Timeout 1426.
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation is an emergency procedure which temporarily assists the heart and lungs in moving oxygen to the cells.
As I was coming out of the restaurant, I felt a very sharp, severe chest pains, and all of a sudden, I guess I just blacked out, and if it hadn't been for the gentleman who gave me CPR and the fast response from the paramedics, well, I probably wouldn't be here now.
Harbor CCU, Squad 36. Harbor CCU, Squad 36. We have a full arrest. Request an IV, a D5W, 2 amps of bicarb. Pass the soft fuel airway.
Each year in the United States, there are about 1 million heart attacks. There are thousands of electrical accidents, drownings, and other accidents in which people stop breathing. Many victims who died might have been saved by CPR. If you learn CPR, you could save a life. Cardio, the heart. Pulmonary, the lungs. Resuscitation, to revive from apparent death. When we breathe, we supply the blood circulating in our lungs with air. Our heart pumps this enriched blood throughout the body. Every second of every day, the cells in our bodies need oxygen-rich blood. If either the heart stops pumping or the lungs stop breathing air, a human being will quickly die. If you see someone who may be unconscious, you must act quickly. Make sure the victim is in need of help.
Go get help.
Next, find out if the victim is breathing. You can do this by placing your ear close to the victim's mouth and nose to feel or hear any breathing. If there are no signs of breathing, the airway to the lungs should be opened immediately. Proceed with A, clearing the airway. To open the airway, begin by simply tilting the head back. This will permit air to flow into the lungs. An unconscious person's tongue can block the throat. Tilting the head back will move the tongue upward, clearing the airway. Lift the neck and tilt the head back with pressure on the forehead. Sometimes this simple technique of opening the airway may restore normal breathing. If not, you must begin B, rescue breathing. Rescue breathing forces air into the lungs. This is done by mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. These methods should not be practiced on human subjects. Unnecessary injury could result. Notice how the hand on the forehead not only keeps the head in position, but also closes the nostrils. This prevents air from escaping during rescue breathing. Now open your mouth wide. Make a tight seal over the victim's mouth and blow. If the airway is open, you will see the chest rise. Now take another deep breath and repeat the mouth-to-mouth breathing. If mouth-to-mouth breathing does not cause the chest to rise, special procedures for choking emergencies are employed. First, administer 4 back blows. If unsuccessful in dislodging the obstruction, Administer 4 manual thrusts. If unsuccessful, attempt to clear the airway with your finger. Repeat these steps until the airway is clear. Now, if the airway is cleared, resume mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. When you find someone who is not breathing, immediately give 4 quick, full breaths without waiting for full exhalation. See if the victim's heart is beating. This is done by locating the pulse in the carotid artery in the neck. This is a large artery between the voice box and the neck muscles. If you cannot feel a pulse here, the heart is probably not pumping. Without circulation of blood, rescue breathing is useless. So you must begin C, circulating the blood. This is done by cardiac compression to squeeze the heart so that it will pump blood-carrying oxygen to vital parts of the body, especially the brain. To do this, an adult's sternum or breastbone must be pressed down 3 to 5 centimeters, approximately 1.5 to 2 inches. You begin by finding the lower tip of the sternum. Then place the heel of one hand on the sternum about 2 fingers from the tip. Place the other hand on top of the first, as shown here. Your shoulders should be directly over the victim's sternum. Now press down. Relax immediately after compression, but do not remove your hands from the victim. Compression and relaxation should have a smooth rhythm and should not be interrupted. Rescue breathing must also be continued. Although it is rare that 2 people qualified in CPR will be available at the same emergency, if it happens, here is the technique to be used. 2 rescuers work on opposite sides of the victim. One performs the breathing, the other cardiac compression with no interruption of either function. The compression rate is 60 per minute, or 1 each second. The lungs are inflated between every 5 chest compressions. To reduce fatigue, the rescuers can change positions. If properly executed, this can be done without losing a beat. When alone with the victim, you must provide both cardiac compression and rescue breathing. Cardiac compression must be at a faster rate, 80 per minute, to compensate for the time lost in rescue breathing. This requires 2 full breaths after each 15 chest compressions. Do not wait for full exhalation between breaths. To review, 2 rescuers should use a rate of 60 chest compressions per minute with a breath between every 5 compressions. A single rescuer should provide 80 compressions per minute with 2 breaths every 15 compressions. A few changes in CPR techniques are necessary when rescuing infants or small children. During rescue breathing, both the nose and mouth are covered. A small puff of air is given every 4 or 5 compressions. When providing cardiac compressions on infants, just 2 fingertips are used. The infant's sternum should be depressed approximately 2 centimeters, a little less than an inch. The compression rate is 80 to 100 per minute. Since compressions and rescue breathing can be done at the same time, there should be no interruption of either function. Because CPR is only an emergency life support technique, professional help should be sought as soon as possible. You have now seen the ABCs of cardiopulmonary resuscitation. A, clearing the airway. B, rescue breathing. And C, circulating the blood. These techniques are easily learned, but watching this film is not enough. Practice on a mannequin under the guidance of a trained instructor, available through your local Red Cross or Heart Association. Remember, do not practice CPR on a real person. Once you have learned CPR, you will have the potential to save a life.